Ladies and gentlemen, since Charlie Kirk was murdered in front of the entire world, the more time that passes, the less we know. Now, Candace Owens, a lot of people are calling her crazy, conspiracy theorist. Well, she was able to prove that foreign intelligence officers were in the United States around the facility of where Charlie Kirk was murdered on the day of Charlie's murder. And then after he was shot and killed, they got on a private military jet and flew out of the country. Why? Do me a huge favor, smash that thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment. Where are you tuning in from today? And really quickly, before we get into it, today's sponsor is, like always, Verity Metals, gold, silver, platinum, IRA, 401k, retirement plan, everything in between. Verity Metals is the company for you. They're patriots, people of faith, and Trump supporters. Call or text them today at 888-328-6105. Tell them Vlad sent you for additional metals. Links are down below in the description. Thank you. From here, we're jumping onto my X page, and I'm just going to let this whole 6-minute video play out. So, Candace Owens just read an email from a whistleblower about the Egyptian plane that changes absolutely everything. She now believes the FBI, the SS, and DEA could be involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. Quote, Charlie found something out, and it cost him his life.
Facts. So let's recap these facts. On September 10th, an Egyptian government aircraft with a history of flying to France and the United States lands at a small Delaware airport under a French company maintenance pretext that doesn't actually match the hangar timeline because the French visit predates the French company's deal. Within an hour, federal SUVs move from that airport to 920 North King Street. 920 North King Street has been a federal residence office since at least 1997, and today it houses the DEA, the FBI, and the United States Secret Service, all at the same address. The hangar the plane would have used is controlled through a DRBA lease that itself is nested in federal waterways. The FBI also publicly talks about key partners in Wilmington on the same year that the hangar reactivates. I'm going to skip this next portion because he tells me how I can verify this. And like I said, I did that. Once more, go through this logic and ask yourself how this makes any sense. On November 13th, 2022, SUBTT flies from Cairo to Paris to Wichita, Kansas, to Wilmington, Delaware, back to Cairo. That is already a 4-leg, 2-continent hop that ends in Wilmington before going home. 4 days later, on November 17th, 2022, it does Egypt to Wilmington, again, departing at 8:54 a.m., and this time it stays in Wilmington until November 20th, and only then returns to Cairo. So that is 2 Wilmington arrivals in the same week. Nobody burns a government Falcon 7X on 2 separate Wilmington runs for no reason. I mean, just look at the choice of St. Louis, Wichita, Omaha, Lincoln, Williston, Minot, and Provo. None of these are standard diplomatic hubs. Most of those don't even have major consulates, and absolutely none of them are known for large-scale Egyptian presence, so that immediately undermines the whole "it's just a maintenance stop" excuse. Ask yourself, why else a state aircraft would hopscotch across America to remote cities if its purpose was just servicing at a defunct Wilmington Assault Center? Wilmington is undeniably a terminal point, and the only logical reason points to 920 North King Street. I could go through all of the dates and do this, but you already mapped the flights, so you already understand exactly what I'm saying. Obviously, I can't tell you how I know this or who I am or exactly who it is that I work for. My motive is simply that I can no longer keep this stuff in my head anymore. I just need somebody with a history of doing the right thing and figuring out the entire truth. I hope you can understand why I cannot verify my employment here.
Okay. So, there was an Egyptian military plane with Egyptian high-level military guys. By the way, daddy's home, baby. With military, high-level military, very well-trained people who flew in, were flying all around, University of Utah. And on that day, on that day, they were actually at the university, spotted. Their phones were tracked there. As soon as Charlie was shot, they got out of there, went to the airport, got on that jet, flew back to Cairo, haven't been back since. Why? And I'm not a big conspiracy guy, but when I'm watching the MAGA civil war, when it comes to Epstein, when it comes to Nick Fuentes, when it comes to, the pro-Zionist versus anti-Zionist within MAGA. And I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I said Charlie Kirk was the voice of reason in times like this. Whenever there would be disagreement among Trump supporters, among MAGA, among conservatives, Charlie was always the voice of reason. He was always there to find middle ground, bring us back together, and end civil conflicts. So the timing is very strange. I'm not saying I know any, we know nothing. I honestly don't even believe that the kid who they say killed Charlie Kirk. We know nothing yet. By the way, want to hear something really funny? Check this out. I'm just going off the loop right here, right now. Surveillance video of Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin is missing from sheriff's office. So the surveillance of him turning himself in is gone. It doesn't exist. So he goes into a sheriff's office to turn himself in, and the footage is gone. It doesn't exist. More and more questions every single day. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? God bless you. I love you. I'll see you soon.